All right, let's get right into it. Every single year, the same thing happens in real estate. The weather gets a little cooler, and suddenly all the buyers seem to vanish, thinking they've got to wait for spring. But what if following the crowd is the very thing that's costing you the perfect home? Let's break down why.
I mean, this is the big one, isn't it? The question every single person thinking about buying a home asks themselves. When is the absolute best time of year to make what's probably going to be the biggest purchase of your life?
And if you ask around, almost everyone is going to give you the same answer: spring. And look, on the surface, it makes sense, right? The flowers are blooming, the sun's out. It just feels like the right time for a fresh start. But is it really?
But what if that conventional wisdom is actually a bit of a trap? What if the so-called off-season is secretly the smartest, most strategic time for a buyer to make a move? Let's dig in. Okay, so the first huge advantage all comes down to some really simple supply and demand. And trust me, when it comes to competition, less is absolutely more. I mean, just look at this. In a spring, the market is absolutely flooded with buyers. The competition is just through the roof. But then, as you head into the holidays, that buyer traffic, it just falls off a cliff. Now for you, that's not a slowdown. That's a huge opening.
And that drop in traffic, it changes the entire vibe of the home buying process. That spring frenzy means you're fighting multiple offers, getting into crazy bidding wars, and feeling pressured to waive critical things like inspections. Now, compare that to the holiday calm, where you actually have breathing room. You have more leverage. You have time to make a smart, thoughtful decision.
You can kind of think of it like this. That seasonal dip is like a natural pressure release valve. In a market that has been so tough for buyers for so long, this is your chance to take a breath and actually get back in control.
Now, this isn't just about having fewer people to bid against. The lack of competition also completely changes the dynamic with the sellers themselves. This is exactly where their motivation becomes your opportunity.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. See, people who list their homes between, say, November and January, they're not usually just testing the waters. They almost always have a really powerful personal reason they need to move. Just picture this common scenario, right? A seller gets a big job transfer to another state. They can't wait around for the spring market to heat up. No, they need to move now. And that urgency, that puts you right in the driver's seat. And when all those other buyers are gone, your power to negotiate just reappears. Suddenly, you're having conversations about things that were totally off the table in the spring, like more flexibility on the price, asking for credits to help with closing costs, or adding in contingencies that actually protect you. Okay, so beyond the market itself, there are also some real, tangible benefits to the actual transaction process. Buying during the holidays can be faster, it can be smoother, and frankly, it can just be smarter. This date right here, December 31st, it's way more than just New Year's Eve. For a home buyer, this is a hard deadline with some pretty serious financial implications. You see, if you can manage to close on your new home before December 31st, you might unlock some really meaningful tax benefits. We're talking about being able to deduct mortgage interest and property taxes on that year's return. That's a huge financial incentive that spring buyers just don't get. And it's not just about the money, it's about time too. With fewer deals happening, everyone in the process, the lenders, the appraisers, the inspectors, they all have a lighter workload. And that translates directly into a smoother, faster closing, getting you those keys weeks earlier than you would in the spring. And hey, let's not forget the personal advantage here. Most of us have more time off work during the holidays, which gives you the space to do this right. You can actually tour homes on a quiet Tuesday afternoon instead of a chaotic weekend open house. You can spend real quality time in a home before making one of the biggest decisions of your life. So let's pull all of this together. When you look at all these different factors, it becomes crystal clear. The holiday season isn't a time to put your home search on pause. It's the time to pounce. So let's just recap that winning formula, okay? You've got less competition. You've got more motivated sellers. You have way more negotiation power. There are potential tax benefits on the table, and you get a faster closing. That is a seriously powerful combination that flips the whole script in your favor. It's really time to reframe how we think about this time of year. For a savvy buyer, the holidays are not a slow season you should avoid. It's an opportunity season you should seize. So, armed with this perspective, you can see the slow season is anything but.
It's your shot to go from just settling for a house to actually securing the home you really want. The only question left is, are you ready to make it your winning season?